Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Ethan, and we will be discussing the new Wonder Woman 3 film that was just announced by Gal Gadot herself. We will be playing Batman Arkham Knight, obviously with the Ben Affleck Batsuit, one of the best Batsuits in this game and in the entire series, to be honest, and driving the Batmobile. So, Wonder Woman 3, right? Now, I know that a lot of people have mixed feelings about this, especially with the whole Henry and Ben situation. But, it is official. Gal Gadot herself was, promoting her new film, Heart of Stone, and she was with comicbook.com, and they brought up Wonder Woman, and she said that Wonder Woman 3 is in development with Peter Safran and James Gunn. And whether or not Patty Jenkins, the director, is going to come back or not, we don't know. Personally, I hope she doesn't, because I think what she did with the second film was terrible, and I think Wonder Woman needs to be treated a little bit more better. And I think if James directs it or if someone else does, I think that'd be a much better option. But as far as Gal herself and her version of the character. Now, I think that this could happen two ways. It could be an Elseworld story where the film takes place, it's in the Snyder universe, but it's an Elseworld story. So it takes place, in another universe, not the main DC continuity. And they maybe just be doing it just so, Gal can get her swan song, her final film, get a complete trilogy. That could be one. Or it could just be that she is the new Wonder Woman. She will continue as Wonder Woman going into James Gunn's DCU. Now, the question is why? Why does she get to stay and Ben and Henry don't? So with Ben, it's simple. Ben had a terrible experience, with the Justice League, with the Joss Whedon Justice League. He had a terrible experience. It made him hate Batman, really, and it really made him hate making a DC film. And it's sad because out of all the actors that we've had as Batman so far, I think there are only two who are really perfect, as Batman, and it's been Ben and Robert Pattinson, to be honest, and we're very lucky that Robert is getting the love that he deserves, and I hope that stays that way. But Ben, not so much. He's not exactly he didn't really get treated correctly by the studio, and it's a sad thing because he was perfect. But anyway, yeah. So Ben chose not to come back, and for his own experience, and that's that. But as far as with everyone else, Ezra Miller, criminal. Jason Momoa, he's still getting his second film, and he's probably going to come back as Lobo. Ray Fisher, same situation as Ben. Made the Joss Whedon cut of Justice League. It made him hate the film, made him hate the studio. He's not coming back. And then that leaves you with Henry. Now, with Henry, he was never hired. He was never rehired to be Superman. All he had was a verbal kind of an agreement that, okay, yes, you are continuing as Superman, But there was no contract. There was no script for Man of Steel 2. There was no real written indication that, Henry, you're coming back. Welcome back. You're Superman. There was never none of that. It was just by word. So James Gunn didn't fire him. He never hired him. And we just got our new Superman, David Cornsweet. Honestly, immensely excited to see David. He's a tremendous actor. I love him. I cannot wait to see what he does. But as far as with Gal goes, why was Henry Cavill's Superman out? Now we all understand with Ben's situation, it's clear. With Henry's, it's kind of complicated. So the way that James Gunn put it, he said that the reason why he did not bring Henry back was because he wanted his Superman to be the hopeful, the optimistic, the Boy Scout version of Superman that we all know and love. The Superman in his core, and fundamentally, he is a Boy Scout. He is someone who, he saves the world with a smile on his face. He's not really questioning himself as much. He's a happy guy, and he's embracing his true self, and he's not really as dark and gritty as Zack Snyder made him. And that's one of the issues with the Snyderverse. The Snyderverse, that's a whole other video. If you guys want to see that, I can talk about that, the problems with the Snyderverse. But the way that Zack made his version of Superman was he made him super dark and gritty, which that's Batman's thing, Superman, he's the hopeful, the optimistic, symbol of hope. That's Superman and who he is. And that's Superman fundamentally, and Zack kind of got rid of that, but James wants to bring that back, and it's sad for Henry because that version of Superman, the version of Superman who's hopeful, who's optimistic, the version that we all know from animation and from the comics, Henry wanted to play that version of Superman. He wanted to play that version, but he never got the chance because of Zack Snyder's poorly written, films. But Henry wanted to play that Superman, and honestly I think that if he did get the chance to play that Superman, James would have seen that performance and would have kept him. I think one of the big things is that James never got to see Henry play that version of Superman. You know what I mean? Like, he only got to see Henry play that dark, that that dark and that gritty version of Superman, and he never got to see him, he never got to see him fully be Superman, and neither did we. So I think because of that, that kind of took, kind of matter in James' decision to recasting him. And, if he saw more of that, if we really saw, the more hopeful, the more, a little bit more happier Superman, then he would have probably kept it. But, none of us got to see that. And it's a sad thing. But it is what it is. So him doing a recast, it made sense. And, it's sad. But the thing is, you have to think about it from a director's point of view. What you're trying to do is create a new universe that you want to last 10 years. Henry is 41 right now. Basically, by the time this first chapter of DC ends, he'll be 50. And it's obviously, the older you get, the harder it gets to stay in that type of shape, and Henry's getting older. He's already in his 40s. It's going to get harder for him to physically, stay in a Superman shape. So you have to think about it from a filmmaker's point of view, from a director's point of view. You want to have a character stay for a long time, and you want them to have that same, physical look, that entire time, because he's Superman. What makes more sense? Casting someone who's in their 40s or casting someone who's a little bit younger? David Cornsweet is 29 years old. By the time the film comes out, he'll be 30, 31. Henry Cavill, when he did Superman in Man of Steel, Henry Cavill himself, he was the exact same age. He was 31. So he was at that good age to play a young Superman, and that's what's happening again. So it just makes sense to bring in someone new. But as far as with Gal, the thing is, Gal is the thing with Gal is, she's the perfect Wonder Woman. I'm just going to come out and say it. She is perfect. I honestly don't think there is any other actress who can truly embody Wonder Woman the way that she does. And from what I've seen in her films and how I've seen Wonder Woman in comics and in animation, Gal's Wonder Woman is very, very similar to the Wonder Woman that we know from the comics, to the Wonder Woman that we know from the animated stuff. Gal is almost a perfect rendition of that. Like, it's the same thing with Robert Pattinson. Robert Pattinson's Batman is so similar to the Batman from the animated series. He's very similar to Kevin Conroy's Batman. And that's why I love Robert Pattinson's Batman so much, is because there's so much from that film, from Robert's performance, that reminds you of the animated series. And that's why I love that movie so much. And he truly is the perfect on-screen Batman that we have right now. And I cannot see what more he does. And it's the same thing with Gal. Gal is perfect. And, again, obviously, age. Age is, again, that's like, well, I know some of you are going to say, well, isn't she almost about to hit 40, like Henry Cavill? That's true. She is. But the thing with Wonder Woman is that Wonder Woman is basically, she's immortal, right? She's already been alive for 1,500 years. So having an actress who herself is at kind of that late 30s age is actually perfect for Wonder Woman. Because she's not too young, she's also not too old. And the thing with Gal is that she looks amazing. For the past couple of years, I mean, you cannot look at her and say that she's about to hit 40. Gal is beautiful, and she's legitimately like a goddess. Like, like you say who's the most beautiful woman on the planet, you're gonna say Gal Gadot. And yeah, she's amazing. And having an actress who's at, kind of who's not too young but also not too old, I think is perfect for Wonder Woman. And especially with her showing that she's been around for so many years. So I think keeping Gal, I think is a great decision. Mostly because I think that there's no one else who can play the role, but it's also trying to find a new Wonder Woman, trying to find a new Batman is going to be very hard, because there are only very few actors who can play Superman. There are only very few actors who can play Batman, Wonder Woman. And, you already had the perfect casting. You already had Ben Affleck, you already had Henry Cavill and Gal. And it was perfect, but, the studio chose to interfere, and they messed it up. Zack Snyder messed it up. And, that their time is gone, sadly. But trying to find new actors who can truly, the DC Trinity again, who can truly bring them to life, there's only a very select few. We got our new Batman, we got our new Superman. I personally think Gal, Robert Pattinson, and David Corenswet should be our new Trinity. Now, I know that, it's already been announced that James Gunn already announced that Robert Pattinson's Batman will continue to be his own standalone Batman. His films will be an Elseworld story. Personally, I think that's a mistake, because one, trying to find a new Batman is going to be a pain. Again, like I said, there are only very few actors who can truly play Batman. Two, the general audience is going to be very confused about which Batman goes where, because the general audiences do not have the proper knowledge of the multiverse. They don't understand, at least I don't think that they fully kind of understand how the multiverse aspect of things work, and they won't understand which Batman goes where. And when you're making these types of films, you have to cater to both, not just like the diehard fans like us, but also the general audiences, because they don't have as much information, they don't know as much as we do. We as DC fans, as DC nerds, we understand the multiverse. We understand, okay, Robert Pattinson, he's on Earth 2. The James Gunn stuff, it's on a different Earth, so on and so forth. General audiences might not get that. So having two on-screen Bruce Wayne versions of Batman, I think is going to be very confusing. And I think is a bad idea. Now, if it was a Batman Beyond situation where we've got a Batman Beyond Elseworlds movie and then a Bruce Wayne Batman, that's different because with Batman Beyond, it's one, it takes place in the future. Two, it's someone else under the cowl. It's Terry McGinnis. Yes, there's still Bruce Wayne, but the Bruce Wayne would probably be Ben Affleck or Michael Keaton. So you can get away with that, with having two Batman on screen if you're doing Batman Beyond and then the regular Batman who's a part of the DCU. If you do that, you're fine. But having two Bruce Wayne versions of Batman on screen at the same time, going to cause a problem. And I think that, it's something that I hope changes. The Batman, the Brave and the Bold film won't be coming out till 2026. And, so by then, I hope that James Gunn does change his mind and ends up making Robert Pattinson the DCU Batman, because we've still got 2-3 years until those films come out. So by that time, he can easily change his mind, and then do something different. It's not impossible. It's the same thing happened with the Green Lantern movie. A lot of people don't know this, but the 2011 Green Lantern movie. Originally, that was supposed to be the start of the DCU. The Green Lantern movie was supposed to be the original start of the DCU, but because it did so bad among fans and among critics, they decided to scrap that idea and start over with Man of Steel. So, he can easily change his mind and say that the Batman is the new DCU. All of the new characters are going to show up on his Earth. It's the best thing you can do. And as far as bringing in Damian Wayne, bringing in all the other Robins, best thing you can do is do a time jump. Robert Pattinson himself is 37 years old, and he can easily play that older version of Batman. He might have to, bulk up a little, but he'll be, and he can do that. He's immensely talented and he's focused. So if he wanted to do that, he could. You can easily show a time jump, from the Batman to the sequel, and show, okay, yes, now he's at that point now where he's had Dick, Jason, and Tim as his Robins, and show up and then you bring in Damian. You can do that easily. And I do think that's the best thing you can do instead of having two on-screen Batman at the same time. It's not hard. You can easily do that. So that is something I hope does happen. Excuse me, sorry, because I honestly cannot. The only other person I can imagine seeing being the Brave and the Bold, the DCU Batman, is Aaron Taylor Johnson. And I think he'd be perfect, but right now he's in Marvel. He's still in Marvel. He's doing Kraven, so he's probably busy doing that for the next couple of years. So I just think keeping Robert is the best thing you can do. Keeping Gal, I think it's an amazing choice. And obviously she's not going to be the same Wonder Woman that we've seen her before. I think she's going to be a new Wonder Woman. They're going to give her a new costume, change her personality. She's going to, I think play the character a little bit more differently, so we know that, okay, that she's playing a new Wonder Woman, not the same one from the Snyderverse, to differentiate, between the Wonder Woman she's played all these years versus the Wonder Woman she's going to be playing in the future. Or honestly, we could be completely wrong, and her third film will be an Elseworld story, and we will get a new Wonder Woman. That's also something that can still happen. James Gunn has not said anything so far about the third film, and maybe he will kind of tell us what's happening with that, whether it's an Elseworlds film or not. If it's an Elseworlds film, great, love it. If that's supposed to be Gal's final film, I'm okay with that. Give her swan song, let her play the character one last time. And if she wants to come back in the future, like a Batman Beyond situation, then you can do that later on. And if they don't do that and she is the new DC Wonder Woman, I'm still just as excited. Gal is immensely talented. She is amazing what she does, and she's honestly the perfect Wonder Woman. She's my Wonder Woman, and I cannot wait to see her, in that, see her in that role again. So, I hope that you guys, feel the same way. Get excited, guys. DC, I think DC is finally going to get back to, the greatness that it's always had. I know that Marvel kind of overtook us a little, in the early 2000s. But now it's time for DC to get back on top. Because that's where DC belongs. DC's the GOAT. These characters are amazing and have so much depth and they have so many amazing talented actors playing these roles. I cannot wait. So thanks for watching. Let me know what else you guys would want to see, anything you would like to discuss, whether, like problems with the Snyderverse or, my own thoughts on other projects or what I'd like to see, in DC going forward. So let me know. And like and subscribe. You guys know the deal. So yeah, just like and subscribe. Have a nice day, guys.